We are live.
Are we live?
Yep.
Oh, we're live.
Hey everyone, I'm Let's Say with Bella.
Okay. There it is.
Yeah, buddy.
What is up, everybody, and welcome into Las Vegas edition of the DNBA Nuggets podcast. Let's go.
Let's go.
Presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR whenever you sign up and gamble along with us through Summer League like true degenerates. I'm here. I've got the whole squad with me. You can't see Brennan vote. He's off screen. I'll just give him a shout out anyway. Say something there. Everybody heard you. Over here, I got Superstar Dev.
I'm back. We're in Vegas. Vibes are immaculate.
Yeah.
Weather is incredible.
Yeah.
Is weather incredible?
No.
I think so. No, it's been
This is
pretty
the
good out
most
here.
standard Vegas weather in the history of Vegas
I
weather.
think it's been great. It hasn't been like 119 or 108 or anything. It's been really
Just
good.
about
for me.
100.
You guys have been wanting to walk and stuff like that, and I'm
Don't
not
group
for
me
that.
into that
I'm not
conversation.
for that.
I never want to walk anywhere. I'm also joined by D-Line Co.
Guys! What's up?
He's back. Dude, come on. Everybody give it up. The man is back. The man is back. D-Line
My
Co.
boy, my boy.
Let's go, dude. I feel fantastic. Can I tell
look
you something?
fantastic.
Can I tell you something? Ball is life. Is it not? Let's go, guys.
Ball is definitely life.
We went out late last night. I'll pull the curtain back just a little bit. If people want to.
Sure, let's pull it all the way back. Not just a little. Pull
we
it
went
all the way
out-
back.
Look at us right now and be like, yeah, those guys went out last night.
We went out last night to Fremont Street. It's
Yeah.
downtown in Las Vegas. We lit the tables on fire, metaphorically
God.
and literally. We're kicked out of the casino. Came back home around 3 a.m. You can hear it in my voice. Shot some, but regardless of the time, you know me. Ball is life.
Ball is definitely life. man.
Went outside, put some shots up. Maybe went 1 of 15.
Man, what a percentage. What a percentage.
There's no way he made one. There's no way. That's an exaggeration. Over here, I got the man, the beautiful one, Harrison Wind.
I got some advice for the people out there. If you want to put money on the Nuggets to win the championship, go to the Golden Gate Casino on Fremont Street. The odds are just all out of whack. They're way better.
They haven't updated them
than
in 10
they are
years.
on DraftKings Sportsbook. Shout out DraftKings Sportsbook.
Yeah.
But check out the Golden Gate at Fremont Street.
All right, there you go.
Insane odds on the Nuggets.
A little tip for you. Today's show, we had Nuggets practice today. I'm told there's some very interesting tidbits. I can't wait. Maybe some wind chimes coming through a little bit later on. We're going to talk about the game. I mean, we got our first look. Honestly, the first game of Summer League is the most interesting one because it's these guys are mysteries, you know? Yes. Less mysteries now. I'm not saying it's definitive, but like, hey, we got to look at some of these guys. So there's a lot of takeaways on Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, Ismael Kamagate, who was actually very interesting, Colin Gillespie, who's now my guy. I'm going to return to him as my guy, Colin Gillespie. We're going to talk about all of them and maybe even a little bit of some of the others. You know, some of the other guys there as the Nuggets fall to the Timberwolves. But we start today with our top story.
What's our top story?
What is our
Nikola Jokic, written in the stars, Denver Nugget, since he was a child. Throw that beautiful footage up. As we saw Misko Raznatovic today, his agent, up on Instagram posted, Jokic, as a wee lad. You don't have to post the story. We're not going to read it. It's just it's a thing. It was beautiful. It was very well written. Very good job, Misko. But this is what you want to see. Look at how amazing is this, guys? Jokic, just 5 years old.
Dude.
Rocky. This is the year 2000. Before the Carmelo Anthony era.
These are some of the darkest days of the Nuggets' history that he's just championing the franchise.
The thing that throws me off about this picture is like, how has it been hiding for so long?
I know.
Like,
I know.
It's like right after he wins the second MVP, and then it just pops up
it's
out
funny.
of nowhere.
It's funny. If Nikola Jokic was like a top draft pick, this is one of those pictures you show on draft night.
Yeah.
Like he gets drafted, you're like,
so true.
he was always a Nuggets
Dude,
fan.
in the 90s, they thought they buried us as Nuggets fans, but they didn't realize we were seeds. This was planted in the 90s. We were just waiting to grow.
I can't wait to see the backstory on this. Like, he had to have a player that he liked at that time.
No way.
That has to come out. How do you get a
It just said it was a
Denver
gift.
Nuggets
It was on
picture?
sale or
That's what I'm
something.
saying. In Serbia, though, that's incredible.
Now, that's the sweater though. Like, where's that blue from? Like, that is not a Nuggets color.
It's from like a knockoff store
Yeah.
of the NBA gear. I love it. And honestly, it's really cool though. It is like this little piece of the serendipitous piece.
Dude, has Destiny ever been more adorable?
No.
It never has, man.
Don't fight Destiny.
Jokic has more photos of him as a child than I do.
It's true.
I had like 3 photos of me before I was 30.
Did your parents not love you or something?
They just didn't have a camera.
You know what's crazy is also I don't even want to see those 3. Like that feels like too much.
That's feel like too many. You're right. They're not very charming. Honestly, it is like one of these things that kind of makes your day. You know, when I come across the timeline, it's like, oh my god.
Between this and ball being life, what am I to do?
You want to know a real thing I thought, and I'm not afraid to say it, guys. I'm not afraid to say it. I saw it, and I'm sitting here in my chair as I am right now.
Oh,
and
you're thrown.
And I think to myself, I go, you know what? We're doing it.
We're
doing it.
That's a fact.
We're winning it. I'm telling you.
Gotcha.
We're winning it. In the Jokic chair, we're getting one. It's happening. I'm already going to say it. The universe is conspiring in our favor. I can feel it.
I am uncomfortable with the confidence that you said that with.
I have no confidence.
But
in
I
it
also
other than-
I co-sign it in an equally ridiculous manner.
If the basketball gods are on our side,
they're not.
They're not.
but maybe not on our side. But if the basketball gods are real, if
not.
it's an
They
actual
are.
real
They are.
thing, which I mean we know that's
We
100%
actually
true,
we do know that.
they will help steer the Nuggets towards a championship. It would make sense to the basketball gods that Denver, building its roster the way it did,
They didn't
Nikola Jokic,
not skipping steps.
us, you know,
Yeah.
like it all makes sense.
The most important part of that story, us.
Yeah, like we're here as well. We're on the journey too.
I love it, man. It really did make my week. Also making my week was NBA Summer League. We got the debut, the long-awaited debut of the Denver Nuggets. They were one of the last teams to play yesterday, but we got our first look. We're going to go through all of these guys, but I kind of want to start with big picture perspectives on the Nuggets. And Dev, like, you watched the game, you took it all in. When you were walking out of the arena, what was kind of your big picture take on that first game?
Other than the fact that you were hungry. Like, other than that.
I think that really it was just like this is a different type of team. Like I really do think that they're not offensive, mindset type
Very
team.
clear.
And they went after that. I really think that even with their summer league roster, they made it a point to get some guys that are going to be, defensive minded players. They have some offensive players on the team that really didn't even get into the game.
That's a great point, actually. Some of the guys that didn't play a lot of minutes, and maybe this changes going forward, we'll talk about it, but some of the guys were the guys that maybe can make shots. It's almost like they don't care, man. Let's
It's like they just like want to like dive into this. Like
Yeah.
this is a defensive, minded team, defensive first team, and that's how you're going to be able to play. That's how you're going to be able to try to stick in this league. And I feel like that was like really evident, as well as they wanted to showcase their new players. This is the first time I feel like in a while that we got to see all of the new players play, in the opening game. So that excitement was high for everybody. But I just think that it was just like the overall, this is going to be a different type of team.
Yeah. What about you, D-Line?
Yeah, this didn't feel like last year's summer league squad was like. It was like exciting it had like much more exciting highs, but the team sucked. Like they were not a good team. But seeing like Bones come out, we didn't know if he was going to play.
Oh,
like,
it was the best.
Bold. We had like all these moments where like, oh man, this is so fun. This is what summer league is all about. I don't feel like you're going to get a single moment like that for this squad.
Really?
No. I mean, we got a
Not
couple.
a single memorable moment.
Wow.
Expectations have never been lower.
Dude,
Tune in, everybody. It's going to be great.
like when Bones came in and like hit a couple threes, I was like, yo. I mean, I guess the closest thing we got was like a Christian Braun
He had a bunch of
throwdown.
dunks.
Two
Yeah, yeah.
posters.
Did
I-
he start out the entire thing with like an alley-oop?
Yeah, first
play,
bucket of the
Yeah,
game.
you're not right. You're not wrong. But there's just like it feels different this year, and I think that what Dev is saying is why it's like more. There's just like a bunch of lunch pailers out there. Lunch pailers summer leaguers.
Grab your lunch pail and go.
What about you, Wind?
I mean, my biggest takeaway was Christian Braun, probably.
Yeah.
He looked exactly like I expected him to look. Like this is why the Nuggets drafted him, because he just has such a high floor as a prospect.
I agree.
And he came into the game yesterday, and it looked like he was one of those summer league vets who's there for his second go around. You know, like those second year guys who come back to summer league, you're always like, okay,
like Cam Thomas.
Yeah, like all right, we get it, man. Like we get it.
Chris Duarte.
Cam Thomas plays like the first year summer league guy, though, man.
He does.
Well, he dominated yesterday.
He's so comfortable with the ball in his hands.
He was comfortable last year.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what he's a bucket. He really is a bucket. He's out there to get it. This is the setting for him.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
But here's what I was really impressed with about Christian Braun. He's the number one guy on this team. Like he is the quote-unquote star of the Nuggets Summer League team.
Right.
He's the highest draft pick. He's the guy. But he's playing like a role player.
Absolutely.
And that was one of the biggest things I was watching. Are they going to like put the ball in his hands? Or are they going to, let him be in that Bones role from last year?
Yeah.
Because he maybe could do a little of that, but that's not the player he is at all.
No.
But he's in just a role player type of role, a similar position and role that he's going to be playing for the Nuggets maybe next season. So I kind of love how he doesn't need plays run for him. He doesn't need the ball to be effective. He just kind of picks his spots and winds up with
You have like 18.
18 points last night. And it was all in
by
the
the way,
flow of stuff.
He's very close to having like 24, 25 because he missed the threes last night, and
Yeah,
they were
he
good
did.
looks.
He was
and they were
1 of
soft.
7 from 3, 8 of 17 from the field, so 7 of 10 from 2.
Right.
It was just like a very clean game from him.
Very clean.
Yeah, he's a good finisher, actually. Like, much better than I expected.
He
It's
really
'cause
is
he's so
an insane
athletic.
That first dunk that he had actually, full court. I think he makes the defensive play, goes full court, then catches the alley oop, and it's one of those things where he caught the oop over a guy running full speed.
Yeah.
It's one of
Yeah.
those plays that was a 10 out of 10 athleticism.
Dude, and I have to say, looking at him, and part of this is because I'm, in the back half of my life. He's a young looking guy.
Sounded dark.
I look at him.
That sounded really dark.
It's very dark.
I'm on my
when
deathbed.
When I
You're
look
on
at
the
him,
decline.
I can just see him. He's so young. He looks so young in the face, but he plays with a. He's quiet. He's a quiet killer. Which
I agree.
I love about that. I was expecting much more Grayson Allen vibes.
Right.
Showy and just the bad guy from an 80s movie that challenges you to a ski race.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. We know what you're talking about for sure.
Anyway, but he's not that way. And I'm saying he looks so young to say that he's going to become a murderer. He's going to get bigger and stronger, and he's just a boy at this point, and he already has that much poise. I'm really, really encouraged about his future.
Yeah, one thing that stood out, you just talked about it. When we talk about these players, this is the first time that we've seen them. I feel like they still have the jitters. They still are, trying to be within themselves. You just talked about it. He's a silent killer, and that's not what anybody has described him as. That's not who he's been. So he's still coming into his own. He impressed us, even though he didn't knock down the 3-ball, by doing things that's not even in his nature. He got put in a position that he took the most shots. He's going to be the marquee name. He's the guy that they're going to run the offense through and things like that. But he's not. That's not what he was brought in for.
Right.
And he got to stand out in different ways. So I think we're going to see the loud person, the competitive person that's trash talking on the court and trying to bring the best out of his teammates and things like that. So we got to see him with that butterfly effect that I think is going to just pop out.
I really like him. I mean, this is one of the things. I liked him as a prospect, as an idea or this or that. You always want to see him. Okay, let's see it out on the court. Let's see how they play. Let's see what his approach is like, this or that. I honestly would say that it's summer league. I don't want to say that this guy is going to be a great player or what his NBA career is going to go like. But I'm in on the idea.
Yeah.
Watching him, I actually really like him and the way that he plays, the way that he approaches. And it was funny. After the game, he was the leading scorer. He gets 18 points. I think leading shot taker too. But
Yeah, by far.
But none of it was through plays. They weren't through hey, we're trying to get him the ball. He's doing dribbles. Some great cuts, open court stuff, offensive rebound, putbacks.
Yeah.
He just fills in the gaps. And after the game, he kind of talked about that, about I'm not, that's my style. I'm not here to be the guy they give the ball to. I'm just going to find opportunities. That's kind of who I am. And I would say he is a 10 out of 10. So far, this is too early to declare this definitively.
We're one full summer league game.
Yeah,
We got it. The stories are written.
He is a 10 out of 10 on the awareness scale, meaning he knows what it is he's trying to be, what his skill set is.
He's like a predator. That's why.
Predators know what they are.
They're aware. That's around it. Like
Okay.
he just has that that's like he just was like a bird of prey.
Cheetah.
I want to put this in.
I was going
terms.
to say cheetah.
No, but I want Adam to stay with me.
Okay.
So
Oh, I'm with you.
a bird of prey.
I'm really
He was out
well
there,
versed
like,
in all animals.
Are you?
I really am. And not insects.
Those are animals.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
so not all. It's actually a large branch on the animal tree. So I would say he had some great cuts. We're sticking with his offensive game. He really is a good cutter, and like some of the things as I was going back and watching the tape, he sets up cups well. He also kind of anticipates the play as an off-ball guy. Like he can kind of see like, okay, here's the drive, getting ready to go. I'm getting ready to make my cut, and I really do think it's going to pair well with Jokic. You know, in the moments that he'll get to share the court with him. I think he's a guy. We always ask this whenever a player joins the team. Will Jokic like this guy? I think Jokic's going to love this guy.
me too.
Yeah,
Because he plays the right way.
Yeah, and he got to show it in different ways. I feel like the team made sure to get him the ball when they got, like, he was their scapegoat. Like, hey, get it to our best guy, and he's going to create and make things happen. I think that's why the field goal attempts was up. But also, he got to show that he's going to go back door. He's going to go over the top for alley-oop finishes. He can shoot the three ball, which they're going to have to respect, even though it wasn't
I want to
falling.
see him make it. I want him to see him make it this next game. But
Yep.
you're right.
So he
Looks
showed
good.
a little bit of everything, but he does. He plays the right way. He's not demanding the ball. He's doing the right things. He's setting screens, popping and things like that. Where he doesn't have to gravitate toward the ball. Like everything happens around him, and he can play. And that's the type of the ball that Jokic loves to play.
It's funny, man. He went 1 of 7. The one he made was by far the toughest one. If you remember, it was a lefty sidestep, like step back sidestep contested three, and he nails it. And I think this is a thing to kind of watch. His set shot kind of has like a very low dip to it. He splits his legs, kind of. It's just his shot. I saw it even when in the tape, for the scouting reports and stuff. But when he shot the one that he made, it looked way more natural. Like he was going because he had no time, so he kind of goes left, pulls up, and it just looked way more smooth. So something to kind of monitor. These guys have little tweaks to make to some.
But
of their shots.
if I can summarize,
Sure.
what I'm hearing everyone say is that we're all residents of Browntown.
Let's go to Browntown.
We're headed to Browntown.
Let's go.
We're all, and again, just to be clear, town spelled T-A-U-N.
Yes. Browntown.
Browntown.
Oh man,
Browntown.
this is going to be a real rough.
Browntown.
It's going to be real rough, man. Having to root for that.
I like the name.
This is going to be terrible. I'll tell you what my favorite trait that I saw from him yesterday, though, and I put this on the list up on the DNVR.com, some video of it. Actually, I think 3 different examples of it just from this one game, and I could have probably added 2 or 3 more. The guy is incredible at transitioning from defense to offense. Now, it sounds like a silly little skill. What I mean is he doesn't – some guys are good fast break players like Corey Brewer. He's going before the shot goes up, right? He's already trying to leak out, and then there's an offensive rebound. He's just out of the play. Christian Braun doesn't he's focused on the play until the ball's secured. As soon as it is, there's no lag time. There's no all right, let me start jogging back and see if I see a seam. As soon as the ball is secured, he sprints, and he is clearly
He's a quick twitch guy.
Quick twitch. He clearly is like a track and field guy because he almost goes into Usain Bolt mode where he's like digging his arms and stuff in transition. But there were multiple examples. Again, I clipped these of where either he had the ball in his hand or somebody else got the ball and he sprints past like 4 guys immediately.
Yeah.
1 step, 2 step, and he's already there.
He's quick.
There's also an example of him getting an outlet pass. And this is, again, you talk about a Jokic trait. Bones is very good at this. He plays fast. He tries to get the ball up quickly. He catches the ball at the 3-point line. 2 dribbles all the way to the rim for an and 1. Passes basically everybody else on the court because he just goes from 0 to 60, like that. So I really like him, man. That skill, but I think that skill is actually one that is meaningful.
Yeah, and it's also a high IQ play, but also showing that he's able to do the small things. He still wants to be involved on the defensive end. He still wants to be in the play if they do secure the rebound, but also he's not thinking about it. That's the thing that stands out. That's what makes you a high IQ. A lot of times, especially in these type of settings, you get lost. Like you're just out there playing. The ball goes up. You're not trying to put a body on or anything like that. He waits, so he has that patience, and that's what I think stood out is that it just looks like he's been here. Like he feels like he was a vet out there, 3rd year, 2nd year for sure.
Yeah.
But then he's able to just go, and a lot of times he's going to have to just go. So now you could put him in the sets where it's defense only, but also he's able to rotate and be an outlet guy that can start the break and things like that. So his versatility is just incredible just to see off of one game.
Defensively, he's more interesting. We're talking about the offensive part. I almost feel because the defensive part is more of a given. Like he was drafted to be a defensive player. It was twofold. I thought that he made some mistakes on switches, maybe more than anybody else or as much as anybody else. It was actually a theme. There's two themes for the Nuggets. The ball stuck. Like, if we just look at the Nuggets, I know we're not analyzing a team when we're talking Summer League, but if we were to analyze how the game maybe found complications, the ball stuck a lot. Not necessarily because of Christian Braun. Actually, I would say least because of him, but just because of other guys. And it led to turnovers. I think there was 18 turnovers. 40-minute game. That's a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
And then the other one was there was a lot of, like, bad handshakes. A lot of bad, like two guys try, like a ball screen. They're supposed to switch. Two guys go with one, including on what was the defining play. We talked about this is a team that has a bunch of winners on it. I know that's a silly thing to say, especially for a Summer League team, but you kind of saw it. They were playing terrible all game.
Yeah.
The last, 4 minutes, you put the Stars in. They all closed the gap. They closed like a 15-point gap immediately.
It's crazy that they were able to lose so
I know, with all those winners, yeah.
With all those winners.
Well, what I was going to say
the
was
first time they've ever lost.
What I was going to say is they got it went from 15 or 13 or whatever all the way down to 1.
Yo.
And then the play that made him not get over to the hump. You got right to the doorstep, and the play was between, I think, Colin Gillespie and Christian Braun, where they screwed up a switch, right, out on the perimeter. And then it was Kevon Harris, who I think Tomahawk dunked it right on.
I've never been so close to that massive of a dunk.
It was
literally right here.
And it was like he hit the ground, dude. That was such a power dunk, and
then he just landed flat on his back.
Flat on his back, and he landed like this. It was that was.
I was like, am I going to have to provide a witness testimony?
I know. That could have been a death.
Are we allowed to leave the arena? Do we have to
the
talk to
crazy
the
part
police
about
first?
it is the Nuggets fans that were there, the crowd that was built by D-Line.
Let's fucking go, dude.
The energy was coming back into the game. It seemed like they were
there.
so involved, and then he took it away. He took away any chance or momentum that was built off of that play.
It was a dagger.
I felt
early dagger.
I felt my heart, my heart taken out and just crushed before my face.
Yeah, that was rough. But it came off of a defensive miscue, which again, it's summer league. These guys barely practice together. So in fact, some of the guys we're going to talk about later, Kamagate, Jack White, they got in just in time to play, basically. Yeah. And so some of these communication things, it's just summer league. It is. What it is.
I mean, that's what happens when you throw a team together and have 4 practices.
But it's still one of those things that if you're a defensive guy, I feel like the runway for figuring those types of things out should be a little bit shorter. So I want to see a lot of that cleaned up. And Christian Braun himself said that's the number one thing. We can clean up these things. That's my emphasis is we shouldn't be messing up those types of handoffs. But defensively, I thought he was great. And Calvin Booth had a line whenever he gave a press conference after the draft where he said, we need guys that do stuff, meaning they just make things happen, right? No, he's just saying some guys make shots and that's a good game. They don't make shots, it's a bad game. He's like, other guys, every game they get a deflection here, they get an offensive rebound here, they do something.
He probably had 5 deflections or something last night.
He had a lot. He did a lot of stuff.
A lot of
stuff.
He did do a lot of stuff.
He did do a lot of stuff, didn't he?
He's just a basketball player,
oh
man.
Oh my God, listen to all the cliches. Is there any other cliches we can put out?
No, but
every other year, right? Hooper, basketball player.
Hooper. Actually, it's funny because Ryan Bowen, the Nuggets summer league coach, actually called him a hooper today, and I don't think Ryan Bowen knows how to differentiate between hooper and basketball player. It's okay. We'll cut him some slack. Christian Braun is a basketball player from the sense that he just does a lot of stuff.
Does the stuff
offensively and defensively. He just knows how to play. Knows how to fit in whatever position they need him to play. He played the 1 through 4 at Kansas. Whatever role, he just fits in. He just plays good basketball.
He's a glue guy, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm a big fan. To be honest, I really liked him after the draft, kind of getting into this stuff. But I really liked what I saw yesterday, and I don't even feel like it was a great game from him. That's part of what I like so much. Is it felt like an average game, and yet he was so impressive. Should we hit our first break here, and then on the other side, let's get into some of the other guys, including Peyton Watson, who I think is very interesting. Actually,
boy.
Let's take our first break. On the other side, Peyton Watson, Colin Gillespie, Ismael Kamagate, and others.
If you have not been able to watch Nuggets, Avs, Rapids games, check out Evoca TV. They've got Altitude Sports, ATT Sportsnet, other national channels as well. They also have a DNVR channel.
What?
Have you guys heard of that? DNVR?
Oh my God, I would not.
You can watch DNVR. You can watch the show on Evoca TV on the DNVR channel.
Dude, there's minimum one person watching this right now on Evoca TV.
Shout out to you.
Shout out you, dude. Tweet about that. Tweet about it, please.
You can go to evoca.tv/DNVR, evoca.tv/DNVR. Use the promo code DNVR. Get $10 off your first 3 months. Comes out to $15 a month. plus a free receiver. No contracts, no hidden fees. Go to evoca.tv/DNVR. At DraftKings Sportsbook, the action never ends, especially this summer. With tons of ways to bet on all your favorite sports, you can fuel your fandom and feel the heat of the season like never before. Right now, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new customers a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's right, make your first bet up to $1,000. If it doesn't win, you'll get another shot to cash it in. Check out DraftKings Sportsbook same-game parlays as well. You can bet on Summer League games. You can bet on the Nuggets and Cavs tomorrow. I actually wonder if that line is up yet.
Oh my God, this is like pure. These are pure sicko hours.
Well, no, I was actually doing some research on Summer
Were
League
you?
betting. Yeah.
Some research.
So the Nuggets and Cavs. I actually want to do a pick of the week, but I will in a second.
I will say, friend of the show, Tony Niehaus, Big T.
Sure, Big T.
Big time gambler. Oh, big time Summer League gambler.
He's
I
a
think
Summer
there's
League
like
gambler.
a real edge to Summer League.
I
if
think
you know
that's
what
what I
you're
There is.
said.
I'll tell you the edge in 1 second. I'll tell you the trick. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR. Make your first deposit. Get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Promo code DNVR only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And for the DraftKings pick of the week, look, you want to pick the underdogs in Summer League. You want to pick the underdogs. Like spread, money line.
I love this. Here it comes.
The Nuggets plus 1.5 tomorrow against the Cavs.
Let's do it.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
DraftKings pick of the week.
Do you remember what the percentage is that underdogs win?
It's like just under 50.
Wait, what?
Yeah, just under 50%.
Okay, so is it a bad bet then?
No, but you're getting better money.
Okay.
So it's good.
All right. Well, it doesn't feel that scientific, actually, now that you explain it. But I'll still bet on it. Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. You talked me into it. All right. Back here, segment 2, DNVR Nuggets podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. So, Peyton Watson is the next most interesting guy, the 30th pick here. When I watched it live, there was like more that jumped out at me on the negative side than when I went back and rewatched it. I think some of his bad plays were particularly bad, in part because he's really, his skill set is not as polished, right? Like his handle is a little sloppy. His shot definitely doesn't look encouraging. Like all of those things, and they stick out so much because I think they're one of the most obvious things, but they're also the things you're most keyed in on. I will say, as a saving grace, and I don't think this was a good game from him by any means. I actually think it was a bad game. It was a bad debut. But when I went back, there were things that jumped out a little bit more on the positive side for him. Some of the things that you say, okay, I know what it is that I saw a little bit more of what I think it is that he can become to be the best version of himself. But nonetheless, I still thought it was a bad game. Dev, what did you see from Peyton Watson in game number 1?
I think it was a mixed bag. It was a lot of negative for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Just because of the things that I, heard about him going into it. There wasn't much for us to see in college, so you have to go back and just see, what type of player he was. A lot of it was about defense, the willingness to do whatever it took, to win and things like that. And I feel like last night there was opportunities for him to like dive on the floor, or to make an extra block, or the effort. I feel like the effort wasn't there. He's trying extremely hard offensively, but not on the defensive end, which was his that's where it's supposed to be his comfort or his strong suit.
I would take away. I wouldn't say that he wasn't trying on the defensive end. It's just that it was the little pockets. When we talk about doing stuff, like Christian Braun would just like somehow find himself in the middle of something like that. That was the part. Like I feel like he would move his feet, he would do some things, he had to block, but then there were other opportunities where it's like it's not your job, but you could pitch in, and he wasn't there for those.
Yeah, and then there was also times that he would. So what was encouraging is he tried to step out and defend every single person that came his way. Like he had the willingness to like want to switch on to a guard, want to switch on, but they kept on putting him in screens. And I thought that he would fight more to get through the screens or try to get around them in different ways. He looked a little bit slow to me on rotations. And just I really felt like he never boxed out, like ever. And I just expected him to do those small things that are going to get him to the next level. What was encouraging is he is a great playmaker. I really do think that I did not see that going into it.
Great is doing some work, but that's his talent.
Yeah, I mean, like he skips the ball. He's a willing passer in those type of situations.
He had a great dribble drive where he's like 6'8", and so he had a great dribble drive where he got into the teeth of the defense, saw well over everybody, and got a good skip pass.
And that's
to
his pass. I think that's his best pass and where he's really comfortable. I do think that it was a setting where he wanted to just showcase himself so much that he was doing a little too much.
Could be.
And that's where he went wrong.
Yeah, for me, like I said immediately afterwards, like I saw flashes from this guy, and I saw a lot of bad. It's impossible to not see a ton of bad.
They were loud. The bad was loud.
He was like missing layups. He was like his shot looked terrible. He was getting taken advantage of on defense. But I felt like as the game progressed and we got into the time when the Nuggets were actually making a push, and obviously, as has been discussed ad nauseum, it's a team full of winners. You know this. Yeah. We all know this.
They don't know how to lose.
They don't know how to lose. But down the stretch, like they got a little bit more composed, and they actually started to play some like reasonable basketball, and he was a big part of it. Like he made a big block. Like when they needed to get stops, I mean, like you can laugh at that because it's a summer league game, but they needed to get stops down the stretch, and he was responsible for a lot of those stops.
I agree.
He just couldn't. He then smoked the layup, and he did a bunch of Keystone Cops routine.
Yeah, they had such a Keystone Cop.
Just running around.
A great reference.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. But so I am not wholly discouraged on Peyton Watson. I am not super encouraged, but I did see flashes, and anytime I see a flash, I'm like, all right, there's somewhere to go here. I mean, most of the guys you see in summer league, it's just flat. You see nothing. Yeah. You're like, there's a guy. He passed it to a guy, and this every now and again, somebody does something.
Analysis.
That's
every now and again.
That's 99% of summer league.
It is, and then
guy to guy,
and then somebody does something that flashes, and you're like, oh fuck, that might be a player.
Yeah.
So I don't know where we are with him, but I would call it an inauspicious debut.
Oh man, inauspicious.
Well, the biggest flash he had of the entire game was that block in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And then he missed the layup on the other end, but got it back and dunked it.
That's his signature block, by the way. I've watched enough of him now. It's not even a chase. It's like this is a real skill though, because he's so long. So sometimes it's not that he gets beat, but that he gets on the hip of the defender. He gets one hand on the hip.
The Torrey Craig.
Right here. It is the Torrey Craig, and he gets that big blocking off the passing lane. So the guy goes up, and then he's really good at the reaction jump. Yeah. Meaning you jumped, I jumped right after that and beat you before you even get the ball out of your hand. He just did it so much even in college, and he did it yesterday. Maybe once, maybe twice. I don't even remember.
Yeah, he had 2 blocks. That was one of them. I forget what the other one was, but you watch that and you go man, that's exactly as advertised. That's Peyton Watson, what we think he can be. But yeah, I wasn't overly impressed. I'm kind of with Deb. I feel like he was focused on his offense.
Yeah, I agree.
In his debut, and it probably should have been.
He's working on his game.
He's exploring his game.
He's exploring his game.
Yeah. Well, he didn't really get a chance to explore his game last year at UCLA.
That's so true.
I guess he's doing it now.
That's so true.
But he seemed to me to be focused on the offensive end of the floor, not the defensive end of the floor. And then maybe in the fourth quarter, in winning time, that's probably when he was like, all right, I got to dig in defensively here.
Yeah.
And he made some better plays. So that was a little encouraging there.
He had 4 stints. The second stint and the fourth stint, meaning the end of each half, was by far his best.
Yeah.
I don't know if you read into that in any way, or what it could mean, but I'm with Dev. I have a couple of other takeaways here, but my number one takeaway is if he's going to succeed in the NBA, the offense has to obviously develop. He does need to explore his game, find a thing. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But more than anything, he has to be the hardest worker on the court. He just has to be. And last night he wasn't. No. And I'm not sure he was the second hardest worker. I think Colin Gillespie and Christian Braun were definitely number 1, 2.
Jack White also probably up there.
Team try hard.
The try hards. So I don't know. So to me, that's what I want to see going forward is the
try hard triumvirate.
It's not even about try hard. He's such a good player, such a talented defensive, so much defensive upside that if he actually played with Colin Gillespie level energy, he probably would have had 4 blocks. He probably would have had 2 more. He has that in him.
One thing that I hope happens in the next day or two, it probably already happened, is I hope that he sits down and he talks with Zeke Naji about this experience here.
Interesting.
Where it's not like, hey, you do not have to be this offensive guy. That's not how you're going to get in this rotation. You do not have to prove yourself in those same type of ways, because I feel like when Zeke Naji tried to explore himself, that's when he got put in this situation where he did not play well at Summer League.
Explore his game or explore himself?
Yeah, probably explore his game.
Yeah, I feel
like Brendan is currently exploring himself. That's why he's not on set.
Yeah, but all jokes aside, though,
It's not a joke, Dev. It's not a joke.
It's life, bro.
I really do
It's
like
ball.
hope that he has that conversation of, hey, you do not have to be that. Like you're here to showcase the things that you do well, the things that are going to have you stick in this league and be a part of this team. They brought you here for defense. Show how good of a defender you are. Show that you're willing to work harder than everyone else that is here. We expected Christian Braun to play hard. Like, that's who he is. And he went out and did what he was supposed to do. Colin Gillespie wanted him to be like a calming person that runs the offense and also plays hard. He did that.
Yeah.
And so with Peyton Watson, he was like, hey, I want to prove that I should have been drafted at this spot.
Right.
It already happened. You
don't need to do that. You don't need to prove that.
It already happened.
He tried to do too much on offense. Like we talked about what his role should be, and he took some open threes. He tried to get to the rim a lot. I felt like he just played with the ball a little too much. He's got to simplify
I
his
agree.
game. He's got to simplify his offensive game for sure, and I think he'll have a lot more success that way.
Look, moving on here real quick, I do think there's a concerning number of fundamentals that he's behind on. This is some of the stuff I emphasized on the list. He had one like catch and go where he's got such long strides and he's so athletic that he catches it and goes, but he goes dribbling right, he catches it and starts with his left hand, and it's a wasted step. I actually slow it down so you can see it in slow motion where the defender closes out hard. He attacks his front foot. It should be great, but because he doesn't lead with the right hand, which is a pretty basic basketball fundamental, catch it, rip through, and then you have the guys like you get to his outside shoulder. Instead, he starts with his left hand. And it's basically a wasted dribble. The defender is able to stay with him. It's little things like that. Another one was late in the game. They go to that 1-2-2 trap. And Denver's trying to build it.
Yeah.
He made one of the most bizarre decisions I've ever seen from a player, that he catches the ball on the left side, dribbles all the way around, like almost like right at some of the other guards who are kind of like, dude, what are we doing? Like, you're pitching all in the corner, and then throws a cross-court pass. So he goes from the left side to the right side, runs and jumps and throws it to nobody on the left side. And that's what I say when the bad plays were so loud.
Dude, he made some terrible plays.
That you're just kind of like,
He had
you
6 turnovers in 28
dribbled
minutes.
your way out of the comfort zone into a tough spot, then threw it the worst part.
The other thing like he has is that in this first game was like the worst thing that you think could happen happened.
What's that?
Like, he has the ball. You're like, he's going to get it stolen.
Oh, right.
He's going to dribble.
You see it coming.
He's going to dribble this off his foot.
Right.
He's going to dribble into traffic and then and then he just do exactly that. You're like, God damn.
Yeah.
So those are things that happen. I don't think these are definitive things. I'm actually really excited for him now with this opportunity to kind of come out here in the second game, because I did see some of the things like the passing, the long strides. He can be a really, really good fill in the gaps guy. I think you guys have all said this, but he's trying to be more than that. I would love to see the foundation there first, and then you start to expand on it. Nonetheless, like I said, on rewatch, the good things popped more than they did live, where it was like, okay, I didn't catch this live, but that was a really nice – he contributed to this play in a really important role. So I think when we were doing our heat index or whatever it was for this, we gave him a blue face.
I wanted to give a blue ball.
A blue ball.
I wanted to give him a yellow ball.
I think
you guys
you were
talked
right.
me into the blue ball.
Yeah, I think you were right on that one.
I'm sticking with the blue ball.
Dude, everybody, check out the heat index.
Yeah, baby.
Day by day.
It's very hot. I want to get into who is maybe my player of the game.
What?
Maybe it was probably Christian Braun. But my other player of the game, Colin Gillespie, who I might call my guy now. Solid Gillespie.
What?
Solid Gillespie.
That's terrible. My God. That's awful.
Crafty Colin, Solid Gillespie. No, Solid Gillespie. He's so solid. He is so solid.
Wow. Outsiders saying
Man,
no. You know what, though?
The chat loves
Peanut
it.
Gallery
Chat all
hates
over it.
that.
Does everything right. I mean, he had a super high basketball
What about
IQ.
Colin Gillespie?
Yeah. Good basketball player, Gillespie.
Maybe we'll just call him Colin. We'll just call him Colin. Colin.
Oh, I love it. It fits him so well.
He, I mean, he really might have been the player of the game, and just how low mistake, extremely low mistake, made some great plays. He was pressured, but never got to him at all. Like, he handles pressure so great. Has great footwork on dribble handoffs. He didn't knock down his shots as well. Like, some of this is the Nuggets offense struggled, but some of it is two of their main shot makers missed some of their open threes. I think probably would have changed the complexion of the game a little bit. But he had great footwork on all of those things. And then the thing that popped for me the most with him is his anticipation on both ends of the court. Offensively, he kind of sees like, okay, here's the seam where I can get into this. But defensively, he had a bunch of plays where it was like, you could, like when you rewind it, you see that he's sitting on it. He's like, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen. Shoots a gap and steals the ball, or does what, or gets a rebound. 6 rebounds, by the way. A lot of these contested. I just think that he sees the future in basketball. He's one of those guys.
Yeah, you could just tell that he's played a whole bunch of basketball. Like he's just comfortable for every single situation. And just looking at it, like this has to be a very tough situation for him to be in as a two-way guy, especially with them, getting rid of their backup point guard. Pretty much their starter. Yeah. So now you're in a situation that you don't want to force too much, but you also don't want to be like, way too back. Like you want to force the issue and try to make things happen. I feel like in this game he was very slow, like off the gates to try to make things happen, and I feel like that's when mistakes happen. Yeah. Then he was like, okay, I'm gonna push the pace. I'm gonna make things happen. Just because they were down, and that's when he started to pop. He started to become within himself. Yeah. I feel like Gillespie, the last 2 years, has became a scorer. And that was by necessity. They needed him to be a scorer. But he's a natural point guard that can make things happen. He's now in a situation where Brown is the guy. I feel like he was okay being the guy that can set things up, make things happen, run the offense, slow things down, especially on a Nuggets team that doesn't have guys that have played, more than 1 year.
Lunch pailers.
So like he's like, in a way, he's the vet of the team. He's like the calming force for them, and he did all of that while still being really good on defense and still being so locked in defensively that it helped other people.
The coolest play of the game, though, for him? So we just talked about what was basically the game ender, the dunk, the and one dunk, and how excited it was. The very next play, you guys might not remember, Colin goes right back at him. At him, and gets an easy layup because that guy was like talking. Yeah. He's like kind of behind, like, oh, I just ended the game.
It's like when you score a goal in soccer, you're most susceptible to getting one scored on you right after.
Maybe, but he just goes right at him in a pressure moment and kind of shut him up because it was like, hey, we're still in it. There was like 45 seconds left, and now it's only 2.
Colin composure.
No, get out of here.
Oh no.
He reads the game incredibly well, like you were saying earlier. Before we got into these,
did you guys forget how much you
nicknames.
hated me? Like I feel like you didn't remember how much you hated me.
I remember now. Who do I remember?
Yeah, he reads the game incredibly well. He's smart. I feel like I watched Colin Gillespie play for like the first time I've ever watched him play a full game last night. And I feel like I immediately know what he's going to be for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I just know exactly the type of point guard he's going to be.
Is that an NBA player?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's a backup point guard.
You're right.
That's what he's going to be.
You're right. I mean, and I hope he can become that, consistently. I mean, right now he's probably a 4th-string point guard. So,
yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not ready to sit here and say, hey, I think he's a guy that you plug in and for 10 games and he's going to be right there for you. I just think he's a solid player that has that to me did not look at all out of place out there.
No.
Physically, athletically, what have you.
He's playing with 2, first-round picks, Peyton Watson, Christian Braun. Well, one of them barely played last year at UCLA. He's playing with this mismatched roster that just came together over the last week. 0 turnovers.
Yeah.
For Colin Gillespie.
That's actually really impressive when you consider how mismatched it was.
Yeah.
Who his presence, by the way, reminded me of in the post-game interview? You guys will never guess this. I don't know why I phrased it that way. Mason Plumlee. He has a Mason Plumlee
because he looks like Mason Plumlee.
Kind of, maybe. But
that's probably why.
Mason Plumlee has a way of talking.
White guy comp?
Maybe. It might be. It might be a little bit of that. No, but he has Mason Plumlee almost has like a deadpan way of like talking. He kind of has that to him, man. Rocked the Av shirt, which was hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny.
More, though. You should have hammed it. He's like, somebody just gave it to me or something. It's like, dude, no, you say you love the Avs now.
Yeah.
It's easy. Pander.
Oh, dude, it's so easy. I went to In-N-Out and I was wearing a Nuggets shirt, and the guy talked to me about the Avalanche that was serving me a double-double, animal style.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Nice.
How's your tummy after that?
Bigger.
Hey, Dev is a fellow In-N-Out hater.
You guys are
what are you talking about? That burger was phenomenal last night.
Animal fries.
Yo, you guys are
animal fries suck. We know that. But, I mean, the burger was phenomenal.
Man, any blanket statement that discredits any part of In-N-Out, I will reject wholeheartedly.
I mean, the fries need work. We know that.
I don't even want to hear that shit. I enjoyed myself.
Everybody knows that.
I want to get on now Ismael Kamagate. I thought he was also very interesting. Now, here's the thing. After the game, and we all know this, he didn't get a chance to practice because the deal didn't go through or what have you. He only got one walkthrough. Basically, it wasn't even live ball. And so he's the guy that I think most you look at and say he was at such a huge disadvantage. But then there's a second part of this, and it was brought up by Coach Bowen after the game, and I think there's a language barrier there with him. Not that he can't speak English, not that he doesn't understand when people are talking, but that there is that dynamic of, like, communication is a little bit harder. So when you talk about a guy who hasn't practiced, doesn't he really even know the guys? I'm not sure how many guys know his name. He knows their name. You know, like, that's still part of that's all coming together. But then you talk about how there's a little bit of a language barrier there, and I think Ryan and also Colin after the game kind of talked about it as well. Like, hey, that's one of the challenges, but we're going to get together. Like, he's such a talented player. Everybody can see it. That, you know, so it was almost as if, like, if you were impressed with him, you're going to be more impressed with him going forward. This is the worst sort of circumstance he could have walked into. Nonetheless, I thought he was pretty good in this game. Actually, I would say really good. He's probably the third best player in this game.
First off, an open gym, a guy that's not known for offense is going to struggle regardless.
Right.
It's just not fun
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
It just looks a lot different. So he's not a guy that's just going to stand out in these type of settings. And then you put in alone the language barriers and not being able to play, but you also are part of the team. Like, I know that is just tough. And you're coming from another country. Like, a lot of things were against him. But also, the guy is massive. I don't know if there was a guy as big as him at Summer League.
There's
like,
not, man.
He is huge. And
At
also,
Summer League?
in person, it looks crazier. Like, it
I
just
don't
does
know.
not look real how big he is out there. Like, he had some positive plays just because he's so much bigger than everyone else.
Right.
He didn't strike me as that big. I'm trying to miss something.
I'm kind of with you on this.
He was huge.
He's massive.
He was huge to me.
He's a big guy, but
Yeah, but also, like, he like, if you play
regular
him in
big guy.
small spurts, he made a lot of things
Well-
happen in such a small amount of time.
Dude,
You
but-
can't play him too long. He couldn't catch a lot of passes.
can't catch.
He cannot catch
The man can't
anything that was
catch.
going his way. Also, I don't think he's ever been in a situation that he's had an elite point guard that's willing to, like, throw it to him in those type of ways. I did like him and Peyton Watson on, like, the alley-oop, like, finish. Like, you could tell he was comfortable with that play right there. But I just feel like it was like a lot. It was too fast for him. Super raw. It was a lot.
man, I'm so shocked. You're also kind of down?
No, I'm not down. I just, to me, he is a little loose. Like, his movement, like, he's a little, I don't know. Like, he didn't seem totally in control. He is big in that he has really long arms. He was able to, like, wrangle a lot of rebounds or at least get his hands on them. His hands are terrible. He cannot catch. He missed 2 or 3 entry passes.
When did I
bounced
kind
off.
of prepared you guys for this? Like,
Yes.
this is not a surprise.
Yes. So that was, like, not great because he was, like, driving and was delivered the ball, couldn't catch it, drop, whatever. But, you know, like, he's a big guy, man. Like, so he did, like, big guy stuff. You know, like, that's kind of where I was left with him.
I thought he did it at a good level, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he was going up against David McCormick was the Timberwolves center.
Yeah.
He was 6'10", 250.
Yeah.
And Kamagate, like, towered over him. It felt
6'10"
like.
is pretty short.
Well, Kamagate's listed at 6'11" only. Like, he just towered over him, it seemed like. He was impossible to move.
6'10"
Like,
short.
Dude, were you at Summer League? By the way, Summer League, the tallest place on earth in aggregate. Walking around, it is.
everybody's a little closer to the sun, too. It sucks.
Oh, we just kept saying, like, you can't generally describe a place by its height, but Summer League is tall.
Yeah. Yeah. But Kamagate, when he gets to the paint, you can't move him out of the paint. In this environment, at least. Like, he's just stronger and bigger than everybody. So he just plants himself in the paint. And I liked what he did last night. I had very low expectations just because he hasn't practiced a lot. And, like, that's why he didn't start. I think the Nuggets wanted to start him, but they started Jonte Porter because Kamagate just hasn't really practiced.
I think there was a second reason, too, and it ties into what I think both of you guys are talking about when you're talking about, like, I don't know, sloppy or this or that. He was exhausted, man. Every stint that he went
Dude,
out
so
there.
was I. I just came off a plane. I've been doing great. Look at me on this set.
Well,
I came in with Colin Gillespie.
he just was really tired. Like, if you go to his stints, I think they were like started great, kind of started getting worse, and then he was like just too tired at the end of it. And there was a couple closeouts where he didn't like fully run off a guy, and I just think he's not. His conditioning's not great because he hasn't been able to work out with the team too much.
He's a little wild, a little all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, he's going in this direction, then he has to switch to this direction. He's like, oh, like,
He was on the ground a lot, too.
yeah.
Just,
His
like,
coordination
falling
needs a lot of work. He's not like the most fluid guy, but he's super intriguing, man. He was better yesterday than I thought he'd be. He exceeded my expectations.
Same there. I really did. I did not expect him to just be able to impact the game like as quick as he did. Really, like if you look at that first stint, he did everything. Like
he was probably the Nuggets' best player in the first quarter.
And he's also trying to block every single thing that comes his way. Like he knows
He
how
didn't
to
get me, though.
He knows how to protect his paint, but he altered a lot of shots.
Yeah.
A lot of them. And he's also like involved on the defensive end. Even if he's not getting the rebound or getting the block, he's trying to like put himself in a play where now you could get out and run, and he's able to run.
Yeah, he's another one like him. I actually thought he had a good game as well, but I think that his next game is going to be significantly better. Just for one, I think he's going to play more minutes. And he's maybe the one now I'd say I'm most intrigued by in game 2. If that's where, like going into game 1, I was most intrigued by Peyton
still
Watson.
for me.
Still Watson for me for sure.
Still Watson.
Yeah, it's Kamagate for me. Is there anybody else that you guys really want to spend some time? Jonte Porter played a lot of minutes in this one. Had some interesting parts. I mean, he opened the game with a 3-pointer. I think that I really like Jonte's game. I don't know that he necessarily had a great one himself. Defensively, he wasn't that impactful.
One player that I want to talk about, and he just kind of talks about the whole thing. Adonis Arms. I really expected. I
think you just wanted to say that name.
No. I expected him to be a lot more. I feel like he was
he might have been the most disappointing.
I feel like he was the front runner going into that two-way spot, and now they're like, hey, maybe we don't need to use this two-way spot. I really think that's how it was in this way because
he played so bad.
Well, he barely played. He played 10 minutes
for a reason.
He did. I'm kind of with him. When you talk about when you're one of the others, you're trying to get a two-way spot, you've got to be the hardest working guy on the court. You just have to. And there was a bunch of plays where I was kind of like, bro, that was a chance for you to go in and do something, and you kind of were just caught watching.
Well, it wasn't even just like the watching. It was like he had a turnover every time he touched the ball. Like he's forcing everything. He put guys in bad spots where he's just throwing it down. I felt like he was trying to do too much, and this was a setting I felt like he was going to excel in. After that first dunk. After that first dunk, I was like, okay, this is comfortable.
He had
for him.
4 turnovers in 11 minutes.
Threw the ball over every time he touched it, honestly.
Those are Eric Arms.
It's not Adonis Arms. It's Eric Arms.
Yeah. I'll mention this one other guy who led the Nuggets in plus-minus yesterday, Jack White, +7. Just saying. We're big plus-minus guys on this show.
Whose name?
At least I am.
Whose name is a better description of them? Adonis Arms or
Jack
White? He's white and jacked, and Adonis Arms has Adonis-level arms. Which was
White, Jack.
That's really tough.
It is tough,
right? I think Adonis. I still think it's Adonis Arms. I've never seen a guy that is more clearly or more appropriately named than Adonis Arms.
Right. Well, if you're named that, you just got to live up to the name.
He honestly looks like he skips leg day.
I would if my name was Adonis
He
Arms.
has to.
Yeah. You don't have a choice.
First of all, he has a 45-inch vertical, guys. What are we talking about?
His arms.
Do you think he needs to work on his legs more? I'm
just talking about dude. It's male form corner, right? Male form corner is not performance based.
Don't ruin this for us.
It's visually based.
This away from us.
Kellen Grady was out there as well. Had 9 points. I do think the Nuggets need a little bit of shooting, so maybe we'll see some more minutes from some of these other guys.
Yeah, hopefully he can make some shots.
Yeah, maybe start making them. I am kind of curious to see in game 2. It's one of the things I want to watch. We know the main guys, but I wonder if they're going to cycle through to give other guys a try. Matt Mitchell played in this one to mixed results. He got to the line a lot. He did some things, and defensively, I will say this about Matt Mitchell. That guy has the strongest legs I've ever seen. And the way he gets into a stance, I said this earlier when I even paused it and did a little screen grab to show everybody. He plays.
You paused it on his upper legs?
I did. I paused it. I paused it because he plays defense like E Honda. He gets that low into a stance, and it's amazing. And
you know what that means?
Hard it is.
You know what that means? That whoever's in charge of him is a button masher, dude. E Honda, dude. E Honda's the fucking lamest for you. That's
nobody plays with E Honda.
Really? Nobody plays with E Honda.
Why would
no,
you?
Dude. A defensive character that you fucking push buttons over and over to engage a move. That's a starter level character.
Slapped to death.
Dude.
Nobody's playing with that.
Get out of my life, dude.
I have no idea that E-Honda. They are so passionate about E-Honda. I had no idea.
You want to trigger Deb? Bring up E-Honda.
It's kind of crazy. But also, like,
That's crazy, man.
At least Mitchell was trying.
He was trying, man.
Yeah.
On that last defensive possession, he was playing great defense.
know,
Stance was
I
way
know.
off and things like that. But like he's so involved in the guy hit the shot right in his face.
right in his grill.
But at least he's playing hard the entire time. Like at least I feel like he had some moments that it was like, okay, we could work around this. It wasn't
had
a
some great
game,
defensive
but
possessions,
Yeah,
too.
he's
Yep,
trying
he really
and
did.
he's around. He's just around.
Yeah.
Ball stuck with
And
him a little
round.
bit. We talk about some of the guys. Yeah, he is right. And some of the guys that were the ball stuck. You know, Matt Mitchell was one of them. Adonis Arms was one of them.
Peyton
Watson
Watson
was one of them.
really
So
stuck
those
him.
were some of the guys that the ball stuck a little bit too much. All right, that recaps it. Overall, you know, it was interesting. I think if we did like stock up, I would be, you know, Brown, Gillespie, Kamagate.
We did. It's called the Heat Index.
It's called the Heat Index. I think all those guys sort of like, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm impressed. And if the guys that you say, okay, need to see something in this next one, you know, Peyton Watson definitely there, and then all the others, the Matt Mitchell's maybe a neutral, but Adonis Arms certainly like, hey man, I got to see something. We got to move on to another player. Let's take a break. On the other side though, Denver Nuggets had practice today. Harrison Wind spoke, I know, with some interesting people, including Calvin Booth. So we'll get some notes from that practice here on the other side.
Okay. Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. Make sure to pick up some Breck Brews wherever you are. Also, make sure to check out the Breck Brew Seltzers, the Good Company hard seltzers and lemonade seltzers. It's summertime. What's better than having a seltzer at a park in Colorado, in the city of Denver? Nothing. Very little. So check out Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. Pick up some Good Company hard seltzers. I think your mic is unplugged. Yeah.
What happened to my mic?
Oh, there we
Good
go.
now.
There we go.
No, we have a producer who's a professional.
Okay. Well, you were trying to talk and nobody was hearing you. Also, Sexy Pizza, my favorite pizza spot in Denver. They've been in Denver for 13 years. Sexy Pizza is as local as it gets. Hand-tossed deck oven pizza with made-from-scratch each morning dough. Tons of great pizza options. They got really good salads as well. They've got great sides. The garlic knots are fantastic. You can order from any of their 4 Denver locations: Cap Hill, South Pearl, Jefferson Park, and Park Hill. New location in Trinidad, Colorado as well. Check out Sexy Pizza, best pizza in Denver. Best pizza in Colorado.
There we go. Final segment here. D-Line. My goodness, you're looking great.
His hair's weird.
Is that your
Is that D-line?
That was so wacky, man. Oh, my God. No, in all seriousness, it was great to have D-Line back. I wanted to do a sign-off for him, but he just left.
Yeah.
There's chicken here. He has
said-
fried chicken. He's like,
he
I'm
said,
going to go eat some.
Do you want to come on? I said no, and he got up. So it's pretty strong.
I do want to talk, though, about Nuggets practice today. I'm very intrigued. Right before we went live here, you guys returned from Nuggets practice, so I actually haven't. I'm an audience member myself at this very moment. Why
Oh,
don't you walk
gotcha.
us through,
Well, most of the stuff we talked about when you were in there was off the record, so we just have to
Oh, wow. Well,
couch that kind
You know
of
what,
stuff.
dude? Let's just do it. Let's
Should we
say
just
all the
spill it all?
just spill it all, man.
Should we just
Give 'em-
spill it all
give
right
'em-
now?
Give them all the beats. No, give them the stuff that's on the. Let's hear it. Well, first of all, walk us through practice. What was the takeaway from practice? I will say I saw from Mike Singer a tomahawk dunk from Jamal Murray, left-handed.
I saw that dunk as well. Mike was standing right next to me. He got it on video. Shouts to him for that. But that was a very impressive windmill dunk.
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
Jamal's so back.
I don't.
Sorry,
I
I
mean,
didn't get it.
did he also do a windmill dunk in January and post it on his Instagram? Yeah, but remember that?
I do. He's doing dunk exhibitions, though, now.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a dunk exhibition. It was close.
Wind is a menace.
It was close. But no, Jamal looked good. Bones Highland was there as well, getting shots up, playing a little in the scrimmage. Davon Reed, officially inked to the multi-year contract that became official today. He was there as well. Zeke Naji, muscle watch.
Wait, he was out? He's out here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's out here.
Dude, Zeke looks.
Zeke Naji looks huge.
That's the real Adonis
Yeah.
arm.
Really?
Adonis shoulders.
I'll tell you what, though, Zeke Naji's been on this. I mean, he's probably big. He's probably even bigger, but that's a guy that, Vlatko Chancer is also this way. Guys that just seem to have the ability to add or lose 20 pounds and,
Yeah.
it's like the Christian Bale of athletes. Whatever role he's trying to play, they just like, boom, go for it. That was a great reference.
No, it was great, but in hindsight, man, Flacco's definitely photoshopped.
No, he's not, man. I'm telling you, he's not.
See
That's
him
just
in
what he
person.
does.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He was on a boat the other day. Did you see that? Enjoying his best life.
Good for
I
him.
mean,
Just got the new
dude's
contract. They
just-
give him
the
more
dude
than the minimum.
knows what to do.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing.
Shout out.
So it was great to see those guys. It seemed like, the Nuggets, they played a little 5-on-5. Jamal Murray was in the 5-on-5 as well.
I'm telling you, it's meaningful. I've said this. It's meaningful. He is now a 5-on-5 player.
Yes, and Ryan Bowen did say today that he even thought that he looked, more confident, better
you.
in 5-on-5 today than he looked in Denver last week when Malone said it was the most serious 5-on-5 that he's played yet.
So would you say this is now the most serious?
We have a new most serious 5-on-5.
Well, that's good to see that
Yeah.
he's playing more 5-on-5. Honestly,
Yeah. No, it is really good. It is really good.
He's still listed as out though.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Ryan Bowen said, Jamal looked good. And Peyton Watson, Ryan Bowen had some interesting, thoughts on him and said, there's stuff obviously he needs to clean up. But he said that Peyton was super vocal at practice and in team meetings when watching film and stuff, pointing out things
love
that
that.
they need to clean up,
I love that.
taking responsibility for some of his mistakes as well.
love
So I
that.
thought that was a nice bit of insight into just who Peyton Watson is behind closed doors.
I think about all early signs, early returns on that part of Peyton are that he's a good teammate. He's about
Yeah,
basketball,
yep.
high character dude.
Yeah.
So
I'm honestly, it's weird. I'm really rooting for Peyton.
Sure,
I'm
man.
firmly in the
Sure.
Peyton Watson corner here.
Peyton Watson
for a variety of
also,
reasons.
he has an incredible recall as well.
Really?
So I asked him about that sequence where he had that block shot and then he eventually got that dunk on the other end, and he just replayed it play for play, sequence. It was incredible, the recall he had. It was like LeBron thinking back and talking
Wow.
about
It
one
did
of those
happen
plays.
last night.
It's just like LeBron, man.
did
he also
It's
probably
so like
watched
LeBron.
film.
Yeah.
But I
It
do get it.
Yeah, but his quote was because Josh Minot,
Minot.
It should be Minot.
I think it's
It
Minot.
really should be.
Josh Minot
Destroyer.
was going off.
There's a town is it Montana called Minot?
You tell me, bro.
I think it's North
That's an
Dakota.
Adam.
North
fact.
Dakota, you're right. That is what it is.
Yeah, South Dakota. Josh
South Dakota.
Minot.
We're close.
Wins on it.
We're close.
I actually don't know. Josh Minot was going off, and Peyton Watson said, what was running through my head was, I'm not letting this guy score on me anymore. That was midway through the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, a couple minutes left, and he got that block. And I was just really impressed with his recall. And just talking with people around the team, apparently he recalls stuff from games where he was in 5th grade.
Really?
And you're like, dude, how are you remembering this? This was 15 years ago.
I have terrible recall.
Me too.
We know
I have a
that.
terrible memory
We're your friends.
about everything except basketball.
Adam's like, the other day someone was telling me something. I'm like, yeah, that was me. I told you.
And it wasn't the other day. It was like 5
was-
minutes ago.
an
He
hour
does that
ago.
often.
One thing about Peyton, there was a theme in every sort of conversation that he had and other people had about him today. There was no sugarcoating.
From him?
Well, no, just I think
yeah.
from Ryan Bowen.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But here, I can say it through this quote in terms of on the record stuff. Peyton said, "One thing I love about this organization is there are no yes men. Everyone tells you what you need to hear." That was an open-ended question. It was,
Right.
Tell us about your relationship with Calvin Booth.
Right.
That was his first answer.
I love that.
So, I think Peyton gets it, man. There's work to be done, and I think people in the org don't want to hold his hand through this.
Right,
They're
right.
trying to help him become that player.
That's great stuff.
I think that it's great that he goes into this situation the first time. He has to know that it's a business decision. Like, people are going to be serious with you. People are going to tell you when you're not having good games. He did not have a good game, and obviously the coach and a front office member has openly talked to him about how he needs to get better.
Right.
So his first opening day of NBA is you need to get better. You need to work harder. That's something that's going to stick.
It means it's an opportunity to respond. That's what it
Yeah.
is. It's kind of exciting. Anything else from practice? Any other takeaways?
Well, another thing with Peyton Watson is you can just tell how excited he is to actually play.
Yeah.
Yeah. He played 28 minutes
Yep.
last night. I don't know if he ever played 28 minutes in a game
Right.
last season at UCLA.
No way.
He just hasn't played and had a role for 12 months.
When you asked him that question, man, his eyes lit
Oh,
up.
he was like, oh, man.
He couldn't wait to answer that. He's like, it feels great.
Yeah, you're kind of happy for him in that sense. You're just like, wow, he actually gets to play basketball now.
Most interesting player for game 2?
Peyton Watson.
Peyton Watson.
It's Peyton Watson.
Kamagate, I'll throw in the mix. man.
P-Watt.
Hey.
Oh, man, I will say that was actually the worst part of the game.
It's a bad nickname.
the bench calls him P-Watt.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can get there.
Peyton Swatson.
That's a great one. No, I
know.
like
I should be in charge of this shit.
I like Peyton Watson. The broadcast called him that. The broadcast. Oh, I guess you didn't hear the broadcast. I watched it again this morning. Yeah, they did. They called him Peyton Watson.
Who was on the broadcast?
I don't know.
All right,
Isaiah
cool.
Thomas?
Hey,
Isaiah Thomas.
Couple of quick notes for me while we're wrapping up. Darrell Arthur, you may have seen that Minnesota offer, but you never saw any news.
Yeah.
I asked him. He turned it down. He's staying in Denver.
Let's go,
Darrell
DA.
Arthur, man. Nugget for life.
Oh, man.
And I will just say this before we go.
Nugget for life.
I thought you even kind of undersold
Cliff's finest.
the obstacles in Kamagate's path. Like
I undersold him?
I think you undersold the obstacles in his path.
I was trying to sell him.
I know. No. I'm saying the language barrier is real. That he hasn't practiced with this team is real. That he's not around people he knows, and there's no Kamagate camp, man. Like this kid is.
Oh, right. Like he's kind of here alone. Yeah, you're right.
He's not in a position to succeed.
Right.
So what you see from him, I think, keep that in mind.
Yeah. I was trying to sell that.
I know. I feel like you undersold it.
I undersold it.
Yeah.
Well, my bad. I feel
just
like you
trying to help you
underanalyzed this game. So,
Oh shit.
well, there you go.
You are right about that.
We all came up short today. That does it for today, guys. It was a very fun one. We got a game tomorrow. I'm not sure when we'll get to the post-game show on that one. I mean, we'll see if it's going to be a late-night edition or if it's going to be something when we get back to Denver. We'll find out. But I'm excited for it. You guys can watch along. And then on top of that, you're not going to want to miss the great Ryan Green, producing all kinds of great content that is up right now. I believe King Josiah, everybody knows him, the Meme King. He sat down and talked with none other than Superstar Dev for a great interview that I haven't even seen yet, but I'm going to watch it as soon as this is over.
The Johnson boys. The Johnson
Is that
boys.
really? Look at that, man.
Yeah.
The
only two people with that last
Johnson
name.
and Johnson?
That's
We're
not
the
as good a
only
nickname
people.
as you think.
Johnson and Johnson's
Johnson
a
and
good
Johnson's
nickname.
a good nickname. Yeah, but you said
Yeah.
the Johnson boys. Hit that like button on the way out.
Johnson
We'll see you.
boy.